Hello, my name is Carrie, and I decided when I woke up today that I was going to start a video blog, and I might end up with 3 subscribers or 300 subscribers, but whether it's 3 and they're all my family members, or my story resonates with other people, I thought I would share it. And one story that I had written on Facebook in a private group, university parent group, went viral. I read every single comment, every single one. And my stories are always long-winded, right? They're authentic. I'm very detail-oriented. This is the real me. This really did happen. The names of the people might have changed. I witnessed them firsthand. And I feel like they are great life lessons for today's society. Today, what I'm going to do is read that post. And there will not be an ask. What I hope to get out of this is my objective, that one person, one human can make a difference. And each episode will be one story, and there will be an ask at the end. If there's one human in this world that can help the person in the story overcome an obstacle. So therefore, I've named my video blog One Story, One Human, because that's literally all it takes. All it takes is for one person to say, I know a guy, I know a person, or I am that person, and I can connect you with somebody who can help you. Because there are people in this world that do not have the resources or the know-how to get to a person who can help them. And so what happens is that person suffers needlessly because they have either asked for help and were denied it. They asked for help and were ridiculed because they asked for help. Or they've seen somebody ask for help and that person wasn't helped, and now they're afraid to ask for help. But I want to be a conduit for people to tell their authentic story and then see if there's one person who listens to the story who can help. And when I say help, not financially. Finances are a very limited resource. All it takes is one person to say, I know a guy. And I can tell you from experience that I have remembered people that have helped, and I have told them, I will never forget your kindness, because that kindness made a difference in my life. It changed the direction of my life. It changed the career path in my life. It changed how I interacted with people. And just imagine that kind of positive change happening from one person to another person to another person. And just imagine that feeling of being the one that was instrumental in that change, and that feeling that you get. Like, there are stories that we read or see on the news, and you're like, I wish I would have known because I could have helped that person. But what if you were that person? What if you could look back at one of these stories and say, I did that. I don't need to tell the world that I did that, but I helped Joe. It is a very powerful feeling. You know, like when you go through a line at any fast food place and then you get up to the drive-through and then the cashier says, the person in front of you paid for your order. And you're like, that was so nice. I'm gonna have a good day. You know what? I'll pay for the person behind me. And then that person pays for the person behind them, and the person behind them, and the person behind them. Now, give or take, usually a few dollars. That's what you would have normally spent. I mean, you actually didn't save any money that day. But it's the feeling that somebody paid for your lunch, and then you paid for the person behind you. It's that feeling. That particular feeling in that moment of time is the reason that you want to do it again. That's what I'm trying to reach today, that feeling. And if I don't engage with anyone, I want my kids to learn this lesson. Without further ado, here's the story. I am barely ever on Facebook, and I have seen 2 posts from this group. One that essentially says, parents, quit hovering. And another that says, this is what is happening with my kid, and I want to help them. And I thought I would give you an outside of the box perspective that I've experienced working with young adults who have failed at college their freshman year, and as a parent of a young freshman who won't be 18 until the end of November. I worked with Joe, who went away to college. He's the first of his family who had ever been to college, and his mom was proud of him getting accepted. A year later, I'm working with Joe on creating his resume, and I ask him about his GPA. He looks at his mom, who's with him in our meeting because he doesn't have transportation, and he wanted her in the room. And she says, he doesn't have one. I tell her, I don't understand, as he did go away to college for a year. And Mom looks at Joe and tells him to tell me. Joe's obviously embarrassed, so I'm patiently waiting. And he says, an academic advisor told him which classes to take, but when he went to go get the books, he waited until the last minute and all the books were gone. So he didn't have the books for his first semester. He didn't do half of the assignments because he didn't have a book. He had to rely on lectures. Now Joe, he's a shy young man and didn't know anybody to ask for help. And his mom never went to college, so she wouldn't have been able to help him. So Mom is over in the room and she starts crying because she feels that she failed her son. Because he failed all of his classes the first semester, all of them. He gets put on academic probation. He has to write an appeal. And that takes time, and again, he doesn't have the supports to know how to do that. And by the time that appeal is filed, it's 1 week into the second semester. He doesn't have any books. Financial aid hasn't come through yet. So he doesn't have a refund to go buy books elsewhere. And he fails again. And now he's coming home after 1 year away at college, having to tell his mom, who's been so proud of him, that he failed miserably. And that has scarred Joe. So getting the resources for me now, or even getting help from me now, it's unwanted. He needed information on day 1 of his classes. And all he wants to do with his life right now is work at the grocery store across the street from his house. He is in control of that. For a whole year, he wasn't in control of anything, and he failed. There are kids like Joe in this world at every university. There are parents like Joe's parent who's never gone to college and either can't help their kid or doesn't have the resources to help their kid. So if a parent asks a question on here, asking others for help, maybe, just maybe, they aren't trying to be controlling, but are trying to be Joe's mom. I have worked in the college setting, and I'm very familiar with aspects of all the departments of a college. I'm not Joe's mom. I do have a 17-year-old freshman. She decided to take a summer course at the community college, just one, to get her feet wet. Her course started 3 weeks ago. She hasn't gotten her financial aid yet. She didn't get the book because she couldn't afford it. She emailed financial aid 3 times and received generic responses instead of answering a question of why her financial aid was on hold. She tried to handle this by herself. 2 weeks later, she tells me about the situation. Okay, easy fix. We'll just call them. The person I spoke to on the phone was obviously not having a good day and probably should not have been answering the phone. She was not helpful at all and basically said to be patient. And you know when you call a business and you get an answer that's not the answer you wanted and you call back and get a different person? I did that. I now get a nice person who not only said that she would put in a ticket to the person responsible for removing the hold, but she would also follow up with my daughter. Wow, exactly how it should be. Working with so many young adults, most would have given up by now. Life after high school is going to be more challenging. However, they shouldn't have to climb a mountain their first day. People like Joe exist. People like my daughter exist. People like Joe's mom exist. People like me exist. Different people, and different backgrounds, and different experiences, and yet both scenarios needed intervention. Kids were climbing hills at high school, and now they're being asked to climb mountains. If parents have the experience or can assist with making sure that kids have all of their climbing gear, all that does is help them be prepared for that mountain feat. In the end, the student has to climb the mountain. What does it matter if the parents gave them the equipment or tools to climb? So my video, just like my Facebook post, is lengthy. So if you've actually stayed tuned to actually listen to my story, thank you. If it resonated with you, let me know. What I want to start with this blog is not where people are doing things for other people, but people who have the tools are able to share them with someone so they can do the climb, so they can move the mountain, so they can accomplish their feat in life. That's what I'm looking for. Tools. We all have them. It's just everybody wants to hold on to them. I mean, like, how often do we use the tools in our shed? I know I'm not a gardener, but I know that I have tools in my shed that I never use. And I know that if a neighbor came over and said, God, I just broke my spade and I gotta go to Home Depot to go get one, then I'd be like, here, borrow mine. I'm not using it. I would do that. It'd make me feel good that it's getting used. If you have the knowledge or resources to help your neighbor, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you do that? Isn't that part of being human? That's what I'd like. One story and one human to say, you can borrow this tool. I'm not going to do the work for you, but you can borrow this tool. It reminds me of the proverb, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish and you feed him for a lifetime. That's what I'm looking for. I'm not asking people to do other people's work or their job or anything like that. I'm looking for people to teach a person how to fish. Teach a person how to navigate around an obstacle. So that way, when they come to their next one, they know how to do it.